So I've had the iPhone 17 Pro for about 5 days now, and I think it's a solid amount of time to actually share some thoughts with you. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I use my iPhone 17 Pro, some of the things that I've fallen in love with, and some of the things that I'm not so keen on. We'll talk batteries, we'll talk cases, and I'll show you the cameras in action, as I was able to attend a car event last weekend, which is the perfect opportunity to put them to the test. So let's get into it. So there's no doubt that this phone looks and feels lovely. With its aluminium unibody design, it feels smooth around the edges and solid and sturdy. However, when comparing it to my iPhone 16 Pro Max, there's something about the Pro Max and the titanium that just feels a little bit better. And this is not just a look and feel situation, this actually comes down to some of the durability as well. As I'm sure you've heard already, this aluminium body is scratching quite easily and has already been reporting to take some scuffs and bumps. However, the titanium is by far a more stronger material and definitely was the right choice for iPhone last year. And the only reason why Apple chose aluminium this year was for reasons of cooling. But I have to say, the compromise in durability is something that's not going to please everyone, myself included. And I think what's even more frustrating about that is Apple really did talk up the durability of this phone this year with scratch resistance, based on the fact that it's got a new ceramic shield on the front and the back. But so far, it doesn't seem like it's offered the protection that we were hoping for. So this brings me to one of my first initial dilemmas of this phone. This year I've gone for the silver finish and I think it's beautiful. Obviously there was the cosmic orange out there and the blue, but I think this silver looks beautiful. The silver and white finish, it looks classy and it really does finish off the iPhone Pro nicely. Plus all of my Apple devices have gone silver this year with my MacBook Air, my Mac Mini, and I just wanted that synergy to bring them all together. With this in mind, I wanted to get a case that would complement this finish. So if you saw my first impressions video, you'd know that I went for this clear case from Spigen. And it's a great case, but I do have issues with it. And one of my issues with it is the fact that it's just got these kind of flanned edges and a bit of a plasticky feel. And when you dress your iPhone in this, you're kind of taking away the original aesthetic and design and feel of this lovely aluminium body. It instantly robs some of that wow factor from the phone. And it's something that I'm finding a little bit hard to get used to. So with that in mind, I'm going to be exploring some other cases and I'll report back to you and let you know if I find a better case. So let's get into the meat and bones of this. When it comes to the iPhone Pro series, it's all about the cameras. It's all about these bad boys right here. This year, the iPhone Pro is rocking 3 48 megapixel fusion cameras. So what does that mean? That means this phone is packing a lot of camera technology that allows you to not only get great quality 48 megapixel pictures, but also some great focal length options too. So as a proud parent of 2 kids, I love taking photos all the time, and I'm always trying to capture moments with the family using my smartphone. This is the world we live in right now. Back in the day, having a camera on you at all times was not a luxury that we all had. And nowadays we carry a great camera in our pocket every single day. So most of us love taking pictures. Now, if it was the case of just capturing the odd memory here and there and some great photos, I think the iPhone Air has a decent enough camera for that. However, if you're going for the Pro cameras, that means you want a little bit more from your camera. And I certainly want a lot more from my camera. Now this weekend gone by, I was lucky enough to be invited by a good friend of mine to the lovely Cotswolds in England to a Porsche event at the Prescott Hill climb. Now this not only gave me the opportunity to capture some beautiful pictures of nature out in the Cotswolds, but it also gave me a great opportunity to capture some of the action using the video cameras at the hill climb itself. As expected, the pictures looked crisp and vibrant, and I made use of all of the different focal lengths. And as I have a passion for shooting videos, I really got to take these cameras to their paces alongside the cars around the track. Having the additional 4x and 8x zooms were brilliant. These allowed me to get videos a lot closer to the track than I actually was, and I got some incredible footage of the cars going around the bends. All in all, it gave me so much more interesting and dynamic footage of the action. So whether you're a casual photographer or a full-blown creator, the iPhone 17 Pro puts the tools in your hands to let you see what you could do with them. Now this next feature was by far one of my favorite new additions to the iPhones this year, and that's the front-facing camera. This is an 18 megapixel center stage camera, and Apple's really pushed on the technology this year by creating a square sensor. Now this square sensor gives the iPhone's front-facing camera the ability to take landscape photos without having to turn your hand. So previously, if you wanted to take a landscape selfie, you'd have to hold your iPhone sideways like this. But now with the square sensor that Apple's built into this camera, you can actually hold the phone in a more natural portrait position like this and still get that wide shot in a more comfortable position. And the likelihood is that you're not going to have your arm in the picture too. And now the iPhone is smart enough to know when you might want that wider shot. So if it sees people standing on either side of you, it will widen up and go for the landscape mode for you to capture everyone in the shot. Another excellent addition to this front-facing camera is now some additional built-in stability. Now if you're a vlogger and you film yourself, this could be a great feature for you. Now for me, I think the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is one of the best vlogging cameras in the game. With its built-in stability, it's pretty untouchable. So I thought, what better camera to compare this to? So here you see some footage from the DJI Osmo as I'm walking along. You can see that it's stable and clear. And now look at the footage from the iPhone 17 Pro. Also stable, also very clear, but I'd even argue that it's a bit sharper and a bit more vibrant. This once again adds to the credentials of the iPhone 17 Pro as a professional camera. And another cool feature of this camera is dual capture mode. This allows you to record video from the front and rear cameras at the same time. But the best part of all of this is that these new front-facing cameras are in all of the iPhones this year, not just the iPhone 17 Pro. So regardless whether you get the super thin iPhone Air, the iPhone 17, or this Pro and Pro Max, you're going to be enjoying the benefits of this fantastic new center stage camera. Now all of these photos and videos you're capturing are going to look amazing on the iPhone's stunning 6.3 Super Retina XDR display. With its 120Hz ProMotion display, it's a smooth and optimal experience. Another improvement to the screens Apple have made this year is with its anti-reflectiveness and brightness. Combined together, they make the screens look fantastic outdoors, even in direct sunlight. And I have to say that initially I was really missing that larger screen. But after a few days I got over it and I started to really appreciate the benefits of having the smaller phone. So on to battery life. And this is a key battleground for all smartphones, not just the iPhones. And I have to say that I've had some really mixed days of performance with this phone. So much so that I decided to delay this review just so that I could try and see some consistency with the battery performance. Now to be fair, the day that the battery took the biggest battering was the day of the hill climb event. It was a 2-hour drive to the Cotswolds there and back, and my iPhone is connected to my car via CarPlay wirelessly. Now that does drain a bit of battery. And from the moment I reached the event, I was pretty much using the cameras for the entire time I was there. So that's the screen and cameras both pumping away at the same time. This meant by 7 PM my battery life was already down to 17%. So this gave me a great opportunity to test the 17 Pro's new fast charging credentials too. So with just 10 minutes of charging, I was able to get the battery back up to 50%. And in a total of 30 minutes charging, I was able to get up to 80%, which is exactly what Apple promised. Very impressive. So for the days that followed, I used my phone exactly how I would on a day-to-day basis, and I found the battery performance to be solid, leaving me with enough battery life at the end of every single day to feel comfortable. Now, if you saw my first impressions video, you'll know that here in the UK, we have the SIM card version of the phone. In other regions, you can actually get an eSIM only version. Now to make space for the SIM card tray, that meant a little bit of battery space had to be compromised. Now in the eSIM version, that's not the case, meaning an extra 2 hours battery life. And an additional 2 hours battery life, that's nothing to be sniffed at. Thank you to the folks who helped me get the right reference this time. Now in terms of power and cooling, I'm not much of a gamer on the iPhone, but my son did give Gear Club Strada a little bit of a spin earlier today, and that game looks beautiful and ran smooth with no lag and no stutter. However, the phone did get a little bit warm. With that being said though, on the day that I tested the cameras at the hill climb, for the amount that I used those cameras, all of my previous iPhones would have definitely gotten hot in those conditions, especially outdoors. But I got to say, under all of that load, the iPhone 17 Pro kept its cool the whole time. Now lastly, I have to talk about iOS 26 because really, it's the software that brings the whole package together. And I have to say, the liquid glass looks cool, the new UI can be intuitive, but at the same time, it can be annoying in some places too. It's a real mixed bag. It is fresh enough to make the whole experience feel fresh and new, and I'm glad for the changes. It's nice to have a bit of a refresh every now and then. And Apple Intelligence? Well, what can I say about Apple Intelligence? All I can say is that there are some cool features here and there which are great. I don't use all of them, but what I do use and what I've always used is Siri. I'm a big fan of Siri and I'm rooting for Siri. I really want Siri to get better. And one of the things that I have really enjoyed with the Apple Intelligence experience in Siri is the fact that Siri can actually talk to ChatGPT when it needs a little bit of extra help. Now when Siri does pass on a question to ChatGPT, there's usually a bit of a pause between it asking ChatGPT for some help and ChatGPT bringing back an answer. And one thing I have noticed is that with this new iPhone 17 Pro, that exchange is a lot quicker. I asked some questions to Siri that I know it would require some assistance from ChatGPT with on both my iPhone 16 Pro Max and on the iPhone 17 Pro. And I noticed that the iPhone 17 Pro was delivering those answers quicker. And that's very much likely down to the new A19 Pro chip, which is a great sign for Apple Intelligence as it gets better. and I'm pretty sure we won't have to wait for long until it does get better. So I think this year Apple has given us one of the best iPhone lineups in a long time. There's plenty to choose from. The iPhone Air represents Apple's essence in its purest form. It's the kind of device that launched Apple to where it is today, by marrying breathtaking design and cutting-edge technology to create something really special. But like so many of Apple's most legendary products, there are a number of trade-offs and compromises. The iPhone 17 is the most complete iPhone at its price range. This is the phone for everybody, and a device that's sure to be a big hit for the company. And then you have this, the phone that Apple calls the Pro, the elite one. This is the best of everything that Apple has to offer in one device. It's the Halo product, and it offers the features you either need or just the features you want. And that, simply put, is the reason why you'd buy it. So I hope you found today's video useful, especially if you're sitting on the fence on which iPhone to buy. And also, if you want to know more about the Porsche Prescott Hill climb event I attended, then I've got a whole separate video coming out about that. So why don't you take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel, and I'll do my very best to make it worth your while, bringing you great videos in technology, cars, and lifestyle in general. And if you really enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And until next time, see ya. Peace.